An Indian sage once said something about Krishna that doesn't sound comforting at first, but it stays with you. He said, "If you walk even one step on the path Krishna showed, your life won't just improve, it will start moving in a direction you can't easily turn back from." And once that shift begins, no one, not even your own doubts, can truly stop you. But there's a truth most people quietly avoid. You're not tired. You're avoiding your life. It sounds harsh, maybe even unfair, because you do feel tired. Your body feels heavy, your mind feels cluttered, and every small task feels bigger than it should. But Krishna's teachings were never about how you feel in the moment. They were about what you do despite it. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stands in the middle of a battlefield. He isn't lazy. He isn't weak. He's overwhelmed. He looks at everything in front of him and says, "I can't do this." And Krishna doesn't comfort him by saying, "It's okay, take your time." He shows him the truth. That confusion, that hesitation, that emotional weight, it's not always a signal to stop. Sometimes it's just resistance. The mind trying to protect itself from discomfort. And that's what most people are living inside today. Not real exhaustion, but quiet resistance. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right moment when everything feels aligned. But if you look honestly, that moment rarely comes. Days pass, weeks pass, and the life you wanted slowly becomes something you only think about, not something you move toward. Avoidance doesn't look dangerous. It looks normal. It looks like scrolling for hours, like overthinking small decisions, like telling yourself, "I deserve a break," even when you haven't really done anything that needed recovery. And slowly, without realizing it, you start losing momentum. Krishna's path breaks that pattern, not by making things easier, but by making things clearer. He teaches action without attachment, not waiting until you feel perfect, but moving even when your mind argues. Because clarity doesn't come before action, it comes from it. That's the part people don't like, because it removes the excuse. If you don't need to feel ready to begin, then what's left stopping you? Just fear. Fear of failing. Fear of being seen. Fear of realizing that maybe you could have done more earlier if you had just started. So the mind creates a softer story. "I'm just tired." It sounds kinder, more acceptable. No one questions it. Even you don't question it. But deep down, you know the difference. You know when you're truly exhausted and when you're just avoiding something that matters. And that quiet knowing, that's where everything begins to change. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Krishna didn't ask people to be fearless. He asked them to act despite fear, to stand in front of their responsibilities and not turn away, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels unfair. That's where strength is built, not in perfect conditions, but in honest moments. The moment you decide to stop negotiating with your own potential. The moment you say, "I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway." That's not motivation. That's alignment. And once you experience that even once, just once, you realize something powerful. You were never as stuck as you thought. You were just paused. And the pause felt so long. It started to feel like your personality. Like this is just who I am. But it's not. It's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. Slowly. Quietly. Without drama. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You need a small, honest step. Do the thing you've been avoiding. Not perfectly. Not completely. Just begin. Because that's what Krishna's wisdom points toward. Not a sudden transformation, but a steady return to action. A life where you stop escaping yourself and start meeting yourself where you are. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable. You'll face parts of yourself you've been ignoring. You'll see wasted time, broken habits, unfinished efforts. There's no way around that. But there's something on the other side of that discomfort. Clarity, momentum, a sense of control that doesn't come from motivation, but from consistency. Most people never reach that point. Not because they can't, but because they keep choosing comfort over truth. They stay tired. They stay not ready. And slowly, their life becomes a series of almosts. Almost started, almost changed, almost lived. But you don't have to stay there. You can interrupt that pattern. Right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel better. Now, take one small action, not to prove anything to anyone else, but to show yourself that you're still in control. Because the truth is, you were never really stuck. You were just avoiding the moment where things begin. And that moment is always closer than it feels.